Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I hope you're staying well. I hope you're staying safe. And I hope that wherever you live, you're not seeing this panic, this fear, and you're not buying into that either. I do receive emails where I can feel the fear that is coming through my inbox. And I would say again that for those of you that are fearful, this will pass. We will have 2 to 3 months of fairly difficult circumstances, but this will pass. Now, why I say that is not because I can see that in the cards, although I can, but China has reported no new cases in the last 24 hours. That tells me that what they did in a country with a huge population and huge problems trying to contain things was able to get on top of this. In our Western world, of course, leaders have been a bit slow to react. We've got stories coming through now around in America that there were high-level classified briefings about this in January, including to the Intelligence Committee chairman. In fact, he sold off some stocks a week before the first stock market plunge. So there's some really serious questions to be asked and answered around a slow-to-act response. And of course, in the US case, when the government did mobilise, they put it down to a hoax and tried to downplay numbers, and we all know that playbook. In Australia, we've only just in the last 24 hours closed our borders. Again, we're seeing a slow and delayed reaction. And I guess the psychological part of me says that the leaders are operating around a deal of fear. Where is their fear where is their fear highest? And that's, of course, with the economic downturn. The inevitability, though, of this virus tells me that those countries, or the evidence tells me that those countries that were early to act are in a better position. So Australia has closed its borders. Canada did that earlier on this week, I think it was, or end of last week. America had done this a week ago. Shutting schools. The UK has now announced it will shut schools. It's gone from, again, trying to develop a herd mentality, which I read one doctor or one specialist thought it was satire when he saw that news coming out of the UK. He thought he's an American specialist in pandemics. He thought it was satire when the UK government announced their plan to develop this herd immunity. Now, talking of the herd mentality, we've seen a lot of panic buying, emptying of shelves, and in Australia we've got a black market developing. I guess in other parts of the world you've got that too. Governments are going to be cracking down, so be warned if you've hoarded and are now selling off produce in Australia on the black market or on eBay. Amazon and eBay are going to crack down as well. It's going to be pretty difficult. And certainly in Australia, our Homeland Security's Minister has said, I'm coming after you if you're selling toilet paper on the black market. Okay, so this panic buying fear is very real, of course, and it should not be understated. It's one of the more, I guess, disappointing things I've seen, because I now, where I live, we've got elderly people and those with disabilities now going without. But then I've got to balance that on a story that a viewer told me. I hope he doesn't mind me telling you this, because he put it in a public comment. He has he's in the elderly category. He's an amputee. He drove his small pickup truck to I think a church that was giving out produce and commodities, and those in the church or the group that was doing this loaded up his little pickup truck with goods, and he went round and delivering this to the elderly and the disabled. So that's an example of the kindness that I want to put there. acknowledging at the same time there's been this fear, this stampede that has left others behind. Okay, I think the Australian Prime Minister called it un-Australian. I think we can go a bit further than that, because there are stories in Australia of a supermarket staff member being shot. There are stories also of young children being trampled in the rush to get into supermarkets. It's pretty horrible behaviour. And I know that no one on my channel has been guilty of that. But let's start. We've also got some good news coming out. So no existing cases, no new cases in China, which is great. Really, really, that augurs well for what we're doing with containment. So we're following China's lead. We have some in Australia and Canada and across the world, in Africa, as South Africa as well. We have, and some of the African nations, we have existing drugs that are being given to those that are sick. In Australia, we are doing trials because we know that malaria drugs stop this virus from multiplying, and also certain HIV drugs as well. In Australia, we're doing a trial whether we should be giving malaria drugs alone, whether we should be giving HIV drugs alone, or whether we should be giving a combination of the two, and in what dosages, because this has been found very effective to stop this virus multiplying. It stops the virus in the tracks. So while we don't have a vaccine, we've got a lot of existing drugs that are working well. In Japan, there is a influenza drug that they are trialling, which has basically, again, stopped the virus in the tracks. So there are a lot of reasons to be optimistic, and I think as we start to really unify trade information, get on top of this panic and fear, the containment measures start to work, we can think with clear heads. I think we're going to be in a better place than what we think we are at the moment. Of course, the economic downturn is one of the huge issues that we're confronting at the moment. All right, so I want to go to, I'm just going to do some viewers' questions at the moment, and we'll just work our way through them. I have to say, if you want to see anything uplifting, go and find that photo of the Venice canals, clear and beautiful, running clean. It really is inspiring. So the first viewer question that I want to ask is, will China and the US relationship improve under new management? We've had the US president crossing out the word corona and inserting Chinese virus. Well, it wouldn't be hard for any other leader that replaces Trump to improve that relationship with China. So let's have a look. Will a new US president improve the relationship with China? Will a new US president improve the relationship with China? Let's have a look. So right now, or the signifier card is that a lot has been lost. There's been a lot of damage done with this Four of Cups. This is the card of disappointment. But there is a cup left. So whatever damage that has been done by Trump and the Trump White House, the Trump government, it's not, it can be rectified. It still can be rectified. We've got the Tower. It is challenged by the Tower, though. There are trade barriers that were put on China, and new sanctions have been announced against Iran. We've got what's occurring globally with the economy. All these things are challenges to that relationship. We've just got, you know, something being broken down. We've got chaos. We've got disruption. We've got structures falling. We've really got the I guess the Trump presidency as the challenge here to the relationship, and everything that has been occurring. I don't know how many times I've pulled that Tower card for Donald Trump. We have loss and grief at the moment, and we've got, that is the foundation of the reading. It is going to be hard for any incoming president to rectify this relationship, because what we've had, we've not only had greed and avarice, but we've got this devil energy coming through as well. And that's an energy that no matter what, the waters are muddy. It's a toxic relationship that has been, I guess, cultivated and exacerbated. So we do have this devil energy in the past. So these aren't good cards for the relationship at all. But we have our King of Cups as the potential future. I just want to stop here for a minute because I am going to release a recording I did yesterday. Was it yesterday? I'm going to release that on YouTube because I looked at where we would be in January 2021. The King of Cups was replacing the Emperor. Now, the King of Cups, you can, whoever that is, it's obviously the Democratic nominee is successful. I'll leave that reading to speak for itself, but it's interesting that it's come across here. So potentially in the future, at this point in time, we have a new relationship that could be possible. One that is more benign, one that is respectful. So let's have a look. In the immediate future, we've got justice. That's interesting. So it's sitting right alongside the tower. In that previous reading, Justice card came forward as well. There's an imbalance here, and there is something that needs to be restored. And that will be as justice moves through between now and your November election, because I do feel the current president will be replaced. Some of these cards came forward in my reading yesterday, and it's good to see them coming here again. We've still got hope. We've still got positive intention, even though we've got grief, loss, and death, because that is also the card when people pass over. That comes forward for me. We've got this beautiful star of hope here, and we've got a movement. So underneath the chaos, and I feel this very strongly coming in America, and it's evidenced by the overwhelming voting now coming forward for a particular Democratic candidate. I'm not going to read on that in this reading. But we have a very mobilised voting population at the moment with the number one aim to get this president out. This is wish fulfillment again. That again is a hope that we will get back to the point where we just haven't got this continual focus on the tower and the justice, that we're chasing justice because so much has been taken away, that we're trying to stabilise things because of this tower moment. Now we've got the 10 of Pentacles. So that's around money, that's around trade, that's around legacy. Let's see what's, okay, that's around the Trump organisation and the Trump government. We've got lies, so we're still here in the present, but we do have the Three of Cups, which is suggesting that are coming together after this lies and deceit. Let's have a look at what's at the base of the pack. The relationship certainly is stalled at the moment. However, we're manifesting new starts, and we've got trade and commerce. And extending. There will be a period of time before an improvement is manifested, and we do have my Four of Wands. That's a celebration, the Democratic card, but we do have retreat and illness at the moment. It's going to take some time to undo the damage that has been done, not just with China, but with all the allies. Because we've got that Seven of Swords. Whenever that Seven of Swords appears, there needs to be some sort of healing and diplomacy. Show me this Seven of Swords. Will the relationship improve with China? Yep. In time, and there are decisions. It's at a crossroads now. China again is shutting down. Yeah, look, we've got healing at the base of the pack, the Six of Swords. It will improve in time, and it will improve with a change of leadership when we get that King of Cups energy coming through. Now, I've got another question. How is Wall Street doing? Now, Wall Street is different from the economy. So my viewer asked this question wanting to make the distinction being between Wall Street, the stock market, and between the on the ground economy, with small, medium, even large business to a certain extent, making that distinction. So we're going to ask the two questions when I get all these cards put back. We're going to ask the question, how is Wall Street? Show me Wall Street, then show me the on-the-ground economy. Just so that we can have a look at the difference. It is possible to see that difference. If there is a difference, we'll see it in the cards. My feeling is that obviously, logic would tell us that the on-the-ground economy is more solid and more stable than the Wall Street share market. So let's have a look. All right. So I'll start with show me the share market. All right, show me the share market, the Wall Street, the stock exchange, the share market. Show me the share market. Of course, we've had lots of nosedives that we haven't seen since the global financial crisis in 2008. It's unsurprising. Show me the stock market. Show me this stock market. Show me this stock market. How is the stock market doing? How is the stock market doing? All right, so I have the King of Swords. So logic, objectivity, and investigation. I was about to say that my readings in the past has showed that the stock market has been propped up by the American government, and look, it's challenged by the Moon card, which is some kind of secret activity. So we've got objectivity, approaching things logically, objectively, but the challenge here is illusion. The Moon, the card suggests that there's some kind of illusionary activity going on here. Really, I mean, this could represent the stock market generally. We've got the King of Pentacles, which is my card for Trump. There has been illusion in the past with the stock market. There will continue to be illusion as well. Full transparency in the past, something that threatens our happiness, something that threatens illumination as a result of this Moon card. My Sun card comes up all the time now. It is almost like we're getting a good look, or we will get a good look at what has occurred. So they're suggesting even still there's some kind of interference with the stock market. We've got the Ace of Cups. Now that is high emotions, but it's also new emotional starts. So we have people that are selling off certain stocks, buying into, and we have investors. There's always opportunists, isn't there? Richard Burr, the head of your Intel committee, is one such opportunist, sold out his stocks, 1.5 million, in stocks he knew were going to crash before the stock market nosedive. There's going to be points of a rally here with the stock market, even despite everything, whether this is connected to this activity, this interference from your government. It's being manipulated. The stock market is being manipulated. That's what I'm seeing. But there's also going to be a rally there as well in the short term. At the moment, though, there is restriction and contraction of the stock market. People are losing money. It's heavy going for them. That's in the here and now. The hopes and the fears. This is around Donald Trump. So what is impacting on the stock market is your president, is the fear that your president isn't in control or doesn't have the ability to take control. The hope is that there will be some governmental control around this situation. So we have lots of things occurring at the moment, something a rapid, and I'm feeling that's a rapid decline. And we do have the Justice card. So in a way, and I'll release this earlier reading, this is a suspension. Okay, there's going to be a dive. There's going to be a dive, obviously. There's going to be a small rally. This is high emotions, high levels of worry. This can also be money loss. I'm seeing here this Ace of Cups in the potential future. I'll draw a clarifier. But the ultimate outcome is that there are multiple impacts on the stock market at the moment. With the Justice card there, now the Justice is a karmic situation as well. The Hanged Man, we're being forced to see things differently. At the base of the pack, we have Congress and the voter. So things are going to be a little bit unstable, obviously, in the short term. There could be some short-term rallies, but I think also there's a huge dive coming up in the longer term as well. So look for some, I guess, some improvement in the shorter term, in the most immediate future, and I think that's related to your government's interference there. But ultimately, it is like nosedive. And there is an imbalance there, and we're being forced to see that imbalance. All right, so I would say that your president is still fiddling around with the stock market, or your government is still manipulating. There is a manipulation there of the stock market. All right, so let's move to the on-the-ground economy, and we'll see what different cards we pull there. Show me the on-the-ground economy. Show me the on-the-ground. Show me the underground economy. Show me the economy. Show me the small businesses, the medium businesses. Are they more resilient than the stock market? Show me the on-the-ground economy. So I am seeing restriction, widespread restriction. But the signifier card is the Page of Cups. So it's not a king, so there's not a maturity there. I feel that the on-the-ground economy, that they're unprepared still for what is going on. Let's see what the challenge is. They're unprepared for the losses. Again, we're seeing justice coming through in relation to the stock market, but this is a huge learning curve for the, let's call it the grassroots economy, a huge learning curve. But although it's not totally, it's not going to totally wipe them out, there is more resilience there because that Page of Cups is still holding something. There's a fish coming out of that cup. So there could also be new opportunities for the economy in the midst of this I guess, global downturn. There is also going to be new opportunities, economic opportunities there. The challenge, though, is that some will have to change. Some businesses will have to change the way that they're doing things because what they're doing is no longer sustainable. It's going to be okay. And these are more solid cards. The Knight of Pentacles is a solid, slow, albeit slow-moving knight. It's not a king. It's not a major arcana. It's not the not even the Ace of Swords. But this is a reliability and a stoic and solid knight, albeit slow-moving. So, a couple of good cards here. In the past, we've got the Magician actualizing something into reality. I feel our grassroots economy has been reasonably solid in the past, unlike the stock market, which has actually been propped up. It's going to have to defend itself. Absolutely. They're going to have to move into defensive play. They're going to have to examine strategies that will allow them to be sustainable in the long term and get them through this crisis. There is a level of fatigue. This is the battle weary, has to put up boundaries, of course. It's not going to be with the Seven of Wands and the Nine of Wands. They're going to do it tough. Absolutely, the economy is going to do it tough. However, we have the Six of Swords in the current placement, which is moving on, which is moving out of troubled waters. So there's going to be a period where they will have to be absolutely on the defensive against what is occurring now. But we are already seeing the start of the recovery. Now that is interesting. Let's see what the environment is around. The High Priestess. This is something that hasn't manifested into reality, but nevertheless, the seeds are there. So China not announcing any new cases shows us that it's possible. If we go through the hard yards for the next couple of months, it's possible to get on top of this. So the on-the-ground economy, the grassroots economy, is going to be on the defensive. It's going to take the hits, but it's not going to be wiped out. We've got this Knight of Pentacles, this slow-moving energy. The hope is the King of Cups. The hope is for different leadership in the US. I'm going straight to the US. That is in the hope position. That King of Cups is in the hope position. And we've got celebration community. There's a coming together here. I gave an example in my reading, which I'll release today, of yesterday, where the opportunities here in Australia, we do produce 75% of what we eat, what we consume, and we import very little food. The opportunity here is that if we're not going to buy overseas, we can buy locally. So we've got the Queen of Wands. People are going to look for this. This would be similar in America. Go down to your farmer's market when you can. Keep your social distancing. But there are going to be new opportunities here. This is also a change of government as well that I'm seeing. We do have the moon. We are confronting our shadow side. I'm going to pull one more. And when that new government is elected, there is a lot of work to be done. It's not just we wake up one day and everything's solved. It's not. The base of the pack, we do have the Lovers card, and we do have the Hanged Man, which comes before an ending, and we do have the Ten of Swords and an abuse of power. So the economy, while we're grappling with what is going on globally, the grassroots economy has not been helped by the chaos that has been sown by your current president. All right, so in summary, Wall Street, there's some government manipulations. There's going to be a small rally, but ultimately there's going to be a huge nosedive, and that's there for us to see what is in balance and what is not in balance. The grassroots economy is going to really have to struggle and fight, but we've got a slow-moving solidness about the grassroots economy that will take us through. Things will start to look up when you have a change of leadership in the US. All right, so let's have a look. Is Trump going to stage a comeback on the back of this, of what's going on? I don't think so. The Australian Prime Minister's popularity rose in the polls after the bushfire and dealing with what's going on. But now with containment, now with the economy starting to do its tough, now with small business and medium-sized businesses struggling, the questions are now being asked, why did you do this? Why did you do that? So Boris Johnson is struggling with his leadership. So, I don't think Trump is going to be perceived as the greatest, type of wartime president going. No, I don't think so. Okay. So every day something emerges around how he handled what was going on, how slowly he acted, and his GOP comrades as well. And it's just going to, something that doesn't bear the test of time. I feel that's what's going to happen with Trump in his handling of the what is going on at the moment. So let's have a look. Will Trump stage a comeback for the way he's handled this pandemic? Will Trump stage a comeback for the way he's handled this pandemic? Queen of Swords. I think more people will remember the Pelosi speech than Trump's, whatever Trump has had to say, because it's been mostly incoherent. Objectivity and truth, that's what people are looking for. What is challenging the situation is loss. Grief, people dying. We've got the Page of Cups, okay, so this is... he will have some wins, but this is also whistleblowers as well, and bombshell news coming out. And of course, we're still getting that. we're still getting this bombshell stuff that Burr knew and sold off his stocks. You know, the test kits were offered and not taken. All of these bombshells keep continuing to come out. It's interesting. I thought he would start criticising WHO. That's exactly a World Health Organization. That's exactly what he has done. We've got him coming. He's behind the 8 ball. That's in the past position. He's already doing it tough. He's already struggling. We do have the King of Wands in the potential future. So this is leadership card. The focus is very much on leadership and will be over the next 2 to 3 months. We have continual revelations with the Queen of Cups. Now, I know that the Supreme Court cases have been around his taxes, have been put on hold. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be heard. All of this will just pick up once the immediate danger has passed. We've got revelations still around what he's done in the past. We do have people having to make decisions at the moment. We have the 2 of Wands, the crossroad card. So in relation to his presidency, there are very, very heavy burdens on him. The hope is for new start and for the truth to emerge. The fear is that the truth won't be told. We've got our King of Cups. No, we've got a new leader coming. The Sun. The Sun is coming along. Here comes the Sun, which is the title of a Beatles song. It's linked with a new leader emerging. We do have eventually this money news coming out as well. Let's see what's at the base of the pack. Will he stage a comeback? No, he's still trying to bamboozle us. He's still trying to cover things. He's still lying with the 7 of Swords. We do have a movement that has began a long time ago. It virtually began from the time he was elected, and that will see a new leader of the United States emerge, and one that will bring unity, not disunity, forward. No, he's not staging a comeback. All right, let's have a look at, we're getting to 32. Someone has asked, will he bail out? Will he bail out because he didn't really sign up to, he wanted to gaslight and profit, etc. This is just a tarot reading for entertainment purposes only. Someone asked me, why do you say that when things are so serious? Is because it is our protection that this isn't a factual reading. This isn't. I'm not quoting from something that's actually happened. This is a predictive reading, and it's not meant to be the media. It is a tarot reading only. Having said that, these are not the conditions that Trump would normally like. All right, let's see if he's going to bail out before the election. When it becomes clear he can't win, he wouldn't want to face a crushing defeat. What's going to occur here? Now, he would have, I'll read on this later, but I feel that while all governments have enacted legislation and their emergency wartime powers, can they be trusted to make sure that things are done correctly? One viewer said to me the other day, we had our Prime Minister in Australia talking about a voluntary quarantining, yet to people that were, or not to, but Australians that were in a clinic in America getting treatment, were told, given information, that they had to self-quarantine for 14 days when they got home. What was less known is that they were told if they didn't self-quarantine, they would face fines up to $13,000. So, are they telling us everything? But anyway, let's have a look. Let's go back to, will Trump bail out? Will Trump bail out? So these are all viewers' requests that have come through the comments section or my email in one way or another. That's what you've asked. Will he bail out? Will Trump bail out before November? It's quite possible. Will Donald Trump bail out before the November election? Donald Trump bail out before the November election? Will Donald Trump bail out before the November election? By the time we get there, I saw him surrounded, almost like, you know, being surrounded by swords. Well, they weren't swords; they were some kind of barrier, and it was on fire. Okay, we've got the spy in the camp, the Page of Swords. That's also that harsh truth that keeps jabbing away at us. Challenged by the truth, the King of Swords. This is investigation. By the time we get there, the signifier cards, by the time we get to November, there's these investigations here. We've got retreat as the foundation of the reading, the Four of Swords. This is also sickness and illness, being wounded in battle. These aren't good cards, are they? In the past, we have the Two of Wands. This is something around the overseas. It could be the shadow foreign policy. It's also a plan that matures in time. It's also the crossroads card. So it's a decision time. The potential future is the Hanged Man. These are all no cards. That is something being stalled, completely stalled, no progress. The Page of Cups, we've got bombshell news coming up in the future. Wow. I think, okay. We've got this trade overseas. There's something around. By the time we get to November, something else will come forward. This is the Three of Swords. This is my card for Pelosi. These aren't good cards. The hopes and the fears. We've got staying in control. That's Trump himself. We do have the Three of Cups, though. Now, let's see what's clarifying that. That's a celebration. We've got the Magician card. I'm not going to be too clear, not too quick to read. Now, if I were to read these just on their meanings alone, I would say these are yes cards. However, I've learnt with my cards and the way that they sing their particular song, that these cards also came forward for Joe Biden. They also came forward. They are also coming forward for full transparency. They're also coming forward for cover-ups. We also have justice at the base of the pack, which is what is happening now. We also have the Tower, and we also have the work that is needing to be done, and the Queen of Pentacles, which is national security and judgment, something coming to an inevitable end. I think there's a chance that he would go still before the election comes. Let me clarify the Three of Cups. Now, again, if I were to read these without the benefit of knowing how my cards speak to me and have been speaking to me over the years, I would say it's a straight out yes, he'll be there. But other cards such as the Hangman and the investigation and the bombshells, Nancy Pelosi again, perhaps adding an impeachment article when this dies down. They may add an impeachment article. We've still got those Supreme Court cases which haven't ended yet. So show me the Three of Cups, but we've also got cover-ups. We've also got the GOP here running cover. So show me the Three of Cups. Will he actually be here in November? Endings and beginnings. Endings and new beginnings, the World card. Battle weary. Okay, so if he is, there's a good chance that justice may catch up with him, but if it doesn't, he goes into this in a very wounded way, because we do have the sort of justice and truth coming out. There's something that will emerge before the election. If he's still here, he's limping to the election. We have the King of Pentacles. We do have the Chariot, which is the virus, my card for the virus itself, but things being out of control. We have this Knight of Pentacles, so there is a reliability here. Things will get bad, but not completely crumble. We do have the Hermit. This is investigation. So I feel that there is a chance that justice will catch Trump before November. If he is here still, he's limping. and we've seen the King of Cups come forward as the new leader. Certainly by January 2021, which tells me he's not going to be there by January 2021. There's a good chance that he will retreat with that Four of Swords. There is a good chance that he may not be well enough to even stand in November 2020. So we're at, it's, you know, I want to do these readings as a service also in chaotic times. So I've gone a bit longer, skip through to the parts that you want or the questions that you want to see. But for those that have stayed with me from go to woe, thank you. And I'll be back again with another reading soon. These are your viewers' requests.